Chapati is my favorite thing that I've mastered. At the beginning, it was not my favorite thing because it was hard. Practice makes perfect, and it is the easiest flatbread you can ever make. It's flaky, it's fun to get your hands on. Now I have two flours I'm working with today. So I have some really fine whole wheat flour I'm gonna mix with my white. So I'm gonna go for half and half of each. You want it fine, not coarsely ground, because it won't be soft. That is the name of the game. And some salt, otherwise it will be tasteless. And some oil. You can use a plain neutral oil like this, sunflower oil. You can use olive oil and use one that you like the flavor of, or you can use melted butter. And I will caution, if you use melted butter, you wanna work a little quick. And this is just plain room temperature water. It's gonna use your hands kind of like fanned out as like a little whisk. And you're just gonna keep pouring until a loose dough forms. This is why bread making is really hard to give exact numbers for, because how you hydrate your flour depends on so much stuff. And you'll see as you're mixing it, even though it looks really dry, it'll start to pull together. And then you can keep adding more, hitting those dry spots, really target them. Part of what can cause for a really dry chapati is simply not having enough water. And when it starts getting sticky on you, no more water. No more goes in. And this is when you really wanna get in there with the mixing. So I just pick it up, put it down, and then with my fists press. Now keep the plain bread flour, not the wheat flour, right like so close to you. Don't worry about putting too little or too much, especially if your dough is sticky. And I'm gonna knead the dough until it's soft and smooth and elasticy. And to knead, I'm using the palm of my hand to push the dough forward, and then my fingers to bring it back towards me. And as you bring it up, you're gonna slightly rotate the dough. Just go in one direction and kind of find your groove, find your rhythm. You know, it's a good moment to have some music on. This is not anything to be rushed. By kneading the dough, you're developing the gluten. It's bread. It should have a nice chew to it. It's not cake where you bite in and it just dissolves in your mouth. It's not cake, it's bread. Really want to make sure it's a nice smooth dough, and it should feel slightly sticky. And if you're not feeling any stickiness at all when you pick it up, your hand should take like a second to come off of it. Your dough needs more hydration. But it's just flour, so try and try again until you master it. My dough is so much smoother. Look at it. This can sit at room temperature. It just needs to be covered. Otherwise, everything that's outside will dry out and it'll be crusty and ashy and flaky and not very cute. And then back with some oil, just enough to coat the top. And this is gonna keep, it's literally like your body. If you take a shower and you don't put lotion on, it's gonna be dry. So this needs to relax and stay covered for at least 1 hour, and then we'll come back and make some chapati. All right, this dough has been resting for a couple of hours now, and chapati is an unleavened dough, so it shouldn't be bigger. It should be really delicate, soft and smooth and pliable. That is the name of the game. Ooh, she's so soft. But seriously, tell me that does not look like a burrito. Ooh, I'm so excited to make these. I love using a bench scraper. It's my favorite piece of plastic besides my credit card. I'm gonna go for a bit smaller ones today, so I'm gonna cut it into 8 pieces. So you wanna mark it in the middle, and then within your middle, you're gonna have your halves, and then have those halves. And just eyeball it, doesn't have to be perfect, and then you actually can get to cutting. And then once you have your pieces, you wanna just shape them into balls. And I just gather all the dough in the center, and then to close off that seam, use my hand, just scoop under that seam, and then do that for all the pieces of dough. And if at any point they feel super heavy, just steal some dough and pop it into a smaller one. At this stage, there's very little you can do to mess it up. This is the safe zone. This is a green zone. Now, it's super important to keep everything covered. If the dough dries out, so you can use a clean kitchen towel. I like using plastic wrap. Try to keep track of which dough you started with first, because every time you work with the dough and agitate it, it's gonna get tighter all over again. The more surface area you have, the more oil you can add, therefore the flakier the chapati will be. And also too, a fun thing at this point, once you kind of gotten it flat a bit, you can just pull it. You don't want it to get to the point where it's really tearing much. So as soon as you feel the resistance, just stop pulling. And then at the end, what I like to do is take my rolling pin against the ends because it's really hard to stretch those out well. And now be very, very, very generous with oil. This is what's gonna give the chapati layers. So pour some oil on top, and then you wanna spread it around. You wanna make sure every inch of this dough is coated with oil. And it's just a light layer, you don't want pools of oil at all. And if you really wanna treat yourself, you can do this with melted butter. Oh, so good. And then after it's coated, there's one more secret that really helps create these layers. Is just a sprinkling of flour. So once it's all rolled up, everything doesn't stick together. This allows the layers to kind of separate. Push it up into a little, I don't know, like snake, worm, whatever shape this reminds you of. Just roll it up. It doesn't have to be too tight, it just has to be together. My grandma always does this, where she'll stretch it out, and this will also create more layers. Just give it a squeeze and pull. And honestly, I've watched my grandma do this for so many years without realizing what this step was for. But the longer this piece is, you'll see when we spiral, there's more spirals, which means more layers, and layers is flaky. And this tail, I like to bring it around and tuck it in, and that's it. A nice little dough baby ready to, once again, rest. And then you just continue for all of them. The nice thing is, as you're working with your dough, those earlier pieces are resting. Chapati's like pancakes, you know, the first one is All my little dough babies are spiraled and rested, and this is a test you need to do before you roll out your chapati. Just give it a touch. It should collapse so easy. If you feel it hard or resisting, wait longer, you know, go watch an episode of some TV show, but wait, by all means, God, I beg you. And to start, I like to just press it out into a little disc. Make sure there's very little flour at this stage. This is a light flouring stage, and get to rolling. Now this is where shape matters. So what I do is I start by giving it a nice little roll and the little quarter turn. So roll and then turn. And I like moving counterclockwise. And this helps keep it in a circle so you don't get a funny misshapen chapati. So it's fairly thin, but it's not paper thin like we did for that middle layer. I really like cooking these as soon as they're rolled out. So roll it and then have your pan hot and ready so you can pop it inside. So I got my nice, heavy, big old pan here. It's a non-stick. I have another chapati pan I like to use, but this is one you can find nearly anywhere. Now I'm just gonna grease it up a teeny bit with some oil at the bottom. I don't want too much. I don't want to deep fry my bread, but I do want it to get a little bit of color. And just gently lay it in there. You have two options when it comes to what tool you want to use to flip your chapati. You can get a spatula and turn it, or you can bring it back to the culture and use the hands. My grandma uses her hands to make chapati, so I made it a mission of mine to be able to cook chapati with my hands. And you'll see, as soon as it gets going and bubbling, you have done a good job with your chapatis. If there's no bubbles, be worried. I can't even front, be a little worried, because what those bubbles mean is that steam is coming through your chapati because there's layers, and the steam is like bobbing and weaving its way between each layer, therefore cooking the bread on the inside. I'm gonna give it another little brush with oil. And my grandmother is so generous with the oil she uses, and then go for the flip. And then just a teeny bit of oil on the top, so once again, nothing is dry. Yes, nicely cooked on both sides. It's okay if it gets a teeny bit dark. It's totally normal. But if you find your chapati getting dark too quick, just lower the heat and then pop it onto somewhere to cool, and then cover it with a plate while you make the rest of the chapati so they stay nice and warm. When I tell you, it took literally my lifetime since yesterday, maybe still now, for my grandmother to believe that I can make chapati. This is an art that takes a lifetime to master, but it is well worth it, I'm telling you. Really one of two ways I've seen, where you serve it whole and you kind of just gently roll it up and just pop it on the side of your plate. And then people can take a bite as they take, you know, a bite of meat or veggies. The way my family almost always does it is all the cooked chapatis are stacked nice and centered, and then you're gonna cut it into 4. And then so you just grab 4 pieces and put on your plate, but I guarantee you'll come back for more. And that's it. You made flatbread. I'm so proud of this. I'm literally gonna take this plate, wrap it up, drive it to my mom's house just to show her what I did, and I might even give her one too. Happy chapati making. Oh my God. I don't think I've ever made ones this good in my life. I'm impressed with myself.